The Florida Panthers revealed their 30th anniversary logo for next season, and a lot more logos have come out across the minor leagues this summer. I've got a full roundup right here, but first, an unexpected leak. This is an Icethetics Flash Report for August 5th. I'm Chris. Thanks for watching. We'll get to all those anniversary logos in just a second, but first we have to talk about a possible leak of the Kraken and Golden Knights logos for the 2024 Winter Classic. These low-res images were first published on Tuesday by Sinbin Vegas by way of an unnamed source and appear to show hat designs from Fanatics-owned Mitchell & Ness for the upcoming outdoor game. Details are obviously sketchy due to the low quality of these images, but we can make out a red version of Seattle's S logo without the tentacle in the middle. It's all outlined in beige, which is sometimes referred to as vintage white, with the team name following the contour of the letter. It's a clear callback to the crest of the old Seattle Metropolitans, the first US-based winner of the Stanley Cup back in 1917. So, will we get a barber pole striped jersey from the Kraken? For Vegas, it's a big gold V, unlike any V we've seen from them before, and there's just not enough detail to make out the decoration on the top of the letter form. However, the left side of this hat displays a new word mark with a type design not unlike what we see in the logo for the strip's famous Flamingo Hotel and Casino. It would not be the first time the Knights took inspiration from casino signage. Last year's reverse retro featured this typography, a crest design that might remind you of Excalibur, and numbers based on the old Stardust casino sign. And to be honest, it makes me wonder if the V decorations are laurel leaves like you find in the Caesar's Palace logo. Clearly, there's not enough detail here to know for sure just yet. On the other hand, we probably don't have long to wait before these designs become official. Winter Classic crests are often released in late summer, so stores can start selling branded merch. Jerseys typically come a little later, maybe even after the start of the season. So there you go, a possible sneak peek at the team branding for the next Winter Classic. Now, let's dive into all of those anniversary logos. We'll start with Sunrise, where the Florida Panthers announced some initial plans for their 30th anniversary season last week, including this new logo, which has gone over really well with fans. They love the return of the leaping cat, only this is the one from their 2016 rebrand, now seen biting through a hockey stick for the first time. And no logo reveal is complete without a social media post telling us it's all in the details. There's not much to this graphic, but they do stretch the 3 red bands around the hockey stick into being a reference to their 3 retired jersey numbers. Sure, why not? So, how will it be used? Chest patches are fairly common for anniversary logos. We're seeing it for the Ducks' 30th. And like Anaheim, the Panthers too have a sponsor on their jersey, at least on the white one. And we saw how cluttered things got for their captains with the All-Star patch there last season. The Panthers haven't said anything about using it as a patch, and that doesn't really surprise me. The Lightning did not use their 30th logo on their jersey last season either. A helmet decal seems like it might be a better bet here. And if you were hoping for a Panthers throwback jersey, like the one the Ducks did, sorry to disappoint. That doesn't appear to be in the cards. And honestly, that's probably for the best. The Adizero template from Adidas can't really reproduce the angled shoulder yokes from those early Florida jerseys. I mean, just look at what's been going on with the Coyotes throwbacks. Anyway, that anniversary logo joins 3 others that have already been introduced for next season: the Bruins' Centennial, the Ducks' 30th, and the Predators' 25th. So, should we be expecting any others? Well, the Dallas Stars could do a 30-year design, but they'd be a year late, having marked their 25th anniversary back in 2017-18 and their 20th in 2012-13. But no word yet if they do plan to do anything for next season. It's also worth pointing out that 2024 will mark 50 years for the Washington Capitals. But since they had their 40th back in 2014-15, I think the 24-25 season is more likely for their 50th. With any luck, they could use the opportunity to update their aging logo and uniforms. Fingers crossed on that. Speaking of rebrands, let's head to the American Hockey League, where the Cleveland Monsters unveiled some new branding. This is the Columbus Blue Jackets affiliate. They're keeping their name, but with a refreshed color palette and logos, and one of the coolest logo change animations I think I've ever seen. Lots to unpack here, so let's dive in. We'll start with the colors. The Monsters are dropping the burgundy and yellow that connected them with their NBA cousin, the Cleveland Cavaliers. The 2 franchises have the same owner. The black and blue are sticking around, now joined by a new metallic gold. to give the team a look that's somewhat reminiscent of the 1990s Capitals and that Screaming Eagle design. As for the logos, the new primary mark features a forward-facing lake monster in a simplified style. It looks great, and it should be much easier to embroider than the old monster. But that one has not gone away entirely. It's been redrawn, recolored, and designated as a secondary mark, which brings us to the jerseys. That new secondary logo is seen on the black and white jerseys, which appear to be the new home and away designs, while the new primary logo is employed on a blue alternate uniform. By the way, that logo and sweater actually debuted last season at the AHL's Outdoor Classic, played in March between the Monsters and Penguins at the home stadium of the NFL's Cleveland Browns. Apparently, the team liked their outdoor jerseys so much, they decided to go all in on it, and here we are. The new identity does feature a couple of other logos, including this word mark set in a commercial typeface called Road Store. The same font is used for the name and numbers on the jerseys as well, and there's a tertiary logo, which is just a modified M from that word mark. It's a fun callback, actually, to the team's original letter mark. This M was used when the team originally launched as the Lake Erie Monsters in 2007. The Monsters shifted to a C as their secondary mark in 2016 after officially changing their name to Cleveland. All right, now that we're up to speed on the Monsters, let's take a look around the rest of the AHL for another handful of anniversary logos. The Syracuse Crunch will mark 30 years since moving down from Hamilton in 1994. Here's what they did for their 20th and 25th anniversaries during the past decade. The Chicago Wolves will also mark their 30th year. This logo was released in mid-July. And here's a quick look back at their 20th and 25th designs as well. Up next, the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins turn 25 next season with this logo. From a technical standpoint, it seems to lack a dominant visual, but there's still something I really like about it. It's kind of a fun design. And here's how it stacks up with their 20th from a few years ago. Maybe a bit too much going on in that one. The Texas Stars plan to commemorate 15 years with a lot of gradients. This logo actually looked familiar to me, and it turns out it's an update of their 5th anniversary logo from 2013. There was also this 10-year design in 2018, but none of these really work that well. Lastly, we have the Lehigh Valley Phantoms, who have this kind of complicated 10th anniversary mark, which wraps in their arena logo and even a sponsor logo. There's really nothing good I can say about this one. And if you're thinking you remember seeing a 20th anniversary logo just a few years ago from this team, and wait a minute, how does that math work? You're not crazy. In 2016, this logo commemorated 2 decades of the Phantoms franchise, dating back to their time in Philadelphia and Adirondack. The new logo, of course, marks their time in Lehigh Valley only, and so it reads, 10 years in the Valley. Well, hey, you've stuck with me this long, so how about a few more? You may have never heard of the Southern Professional Hockey League, a small semi-pro setup in the Deep South, but the SPHL is about to embark on its 20th season in action. In preparation, they recently shared 4 different anniversary logo designs, asking fans to pick their favorite. On Tuesday, they released this design and announced that they are officially changing their name to the SPHL. It's no longer an acronym. Just the SPHL, kind of like the ECHL. And speaking of which, the ECHL recently announced an expansion team will finally be arriving in Reno, Nevada for the 24-25 season. Now, no team name has been announced yet, but if they end up partnering with Nevada's other pro hockey teams, the Golden Knights and Silver Knights, would it be too crazy to expect the Bronze Knights after all? This concept from Sam Ruffino from 2020 really makes you wonder. All right, this is apparently the flash report that just won't end because I do want to show you a couple of All-Star logos from the minors. The AHL All-Star Classic will be hosted next season by the San Jose Barracuda, and this logo was released way back in April, but managed to kind of slip under my radar. It even came with its own explainer graphic, but I'm not sure that was necessary. Meanwhile, in the ECHL, the Savannah Ghost Pirates, fresh off their inaugural season, will host their league's All-Star Classic. They have such great branding, so I was kind of surprised at how dull and text-heavy this logo ended up being. Anyway, I'm probably starting to lose you by now, so this seems like a good place to wrap it up. Don't forget to drop a like on your way out if you could, and be sure to subscribe to the Icethetics channel if you haven't yet. Thanks as always for watching, and see you next time.